3 of my clients this week highlighted the sheer importance of this, and I just wish more people knew about it, because there are so many women who are stuck in like this diet rut, this forever slashing calories, trying to get leaner, trying to get tighter, more toned, always struggling with their belly fat. And it's just this ongoing round and round washing machine of a sort until you hit perimenopause, where it all just literally turns to shit and goes downhill, like a storm took over and everything just exploded. It's kind of funny though, the way she said it is so amazingly perfect that I need to read it out. I now understand why it's important to see progress is also getting stronger, improving form, squatting lower, etc. Progress needs to be more than just seeing physical results and expecting it, because it'll take time. And if I stay focused on this alone, I won't feel like I'm progressing, as it'll be a slow process. It is huge, because it's not about it just being important to see it as also, as progress is also getting stronger, also improving form, also actually squatting to depth and not doing little bumpy things that I see so many people doing in like leg presses, squat machines, glutifying everything. It's like we exchange one obsession of the scale to the logbook, or just have both, because we always have to feel like there is just, but the main message here is it's not about also seeing it as, or I won't feel like I'm progressing, as it's a slow process. It's not going to be a slow process, and it's not going to be any type of progress if you're not focusing on squatting deeper, training technique, proper form, getting stronger, improving form. Because if your form isn't there, and if you don't put the work into bracing, into learning how to use your lats, into knowing how to use your core and things, there is no progress. Literally. You're going to keep hitting bottlenecks in your training. You're never going to get strong enough. You're never going to see progress continue to go up. Like, yeah, okay, weights can go up. You'll probably see it and you'll be like, I'm getting stronger. But is that because you're just changing the program because it's a new calendar month? Or is it because any other reason outside of you technically getting stronger and lifting not just heavier than you did 6 months ago, but 6 months before that? You cannot change your body without your training doing something. So it's not about also why it's important to focus on getting stronger or improving form. It is the only way to see progress. You're not going to get a leaner midsection, a tighter midsection, if you're under-muscled, if you're under-strengthed, under-stronged. I don't want to say weak, but you know what I mean. If you're under-progressed, there is nothing that tightens you, that tones you, that defines you outside of your training. Yes, you need low enough body fat, but that isn't gonna make you have a harder, tighter, toned look without building the muscle there. And you can't do that if your body always crumbles under load, if you can't squat or deadlift or do split squats without your back taking over, without your hips doing weird stuff. Form matters first and foremost, because only then can you stack things high, strong, wide, set up the runway so you can continue to progress, so you can feel like you're progressing. And if you're always focused on what your scale weight's doing, what your progress photos are doing every single week, or what your pants feel like on any given day, or if they get tight one day, like focusing on all of these external things will never get you to what you expect those external things to be doing in a positive way. Because the focusing on results doesn't get you results. Focusing on oh, let's just manifest this amazing business, but you don't know how to build businesses. Or let's just manifest this amazing Lamborghini, but you have like 2 cents in your savings account. You're not going to manifest shit. You have to do the work. You have to put in the steps. You have to put the investments in every single day. You need to be focused on the right things. You focus on the training, and it doesn't just give you something to feel like you're progressing or something to work towards. It like, because body composition is such a long journey, it gives you something that helps you stay the process without self-sabotaging, without going to a diet for every summer, without giving in to the knee-jerk reaction, which brings me to the other 2 clients, where one client, well, I should say 3, 2 of the other clients that I have open at the moment, I shouldn't really be multitasking all 3 of them at once, but they're just, I'm noticing muscles in areas I've never seen them before. Their form, they're continuously working on their form. They're continuously noting where they're focusing on things, what muscles they're using. It's not just for me, it's for themselves. They fixed their form so that they can continue progressing. They didn't just continue lifting weights from A to B because it feels like it's working. They haven't obsessed about what their calories are doing. And I really want to do a post on how much I freaking hate these research studies that say, oh, well, you can lose fat and build muscle at the same time, blah, blah, blah. Well, number one, most of them are given a new stimulus for however long. So that in itself gives them something to adapt to. What are they measuring with? Because DEXAs do not measure muscle mass. DEXAs do not have any way of measuring that stuff. You need an MRI to get your specifics of all the different things. DEXAs are great for bones. They're great for bones. But everyone is so obsessed about what their calories should be doing, what their carbs should be doing. Maybe it's the wrong timing. All of that shit. But none of that matters, because in the research studies, there are researchers that are pushing them to failure. They are training hard. And when you are in an environment where people are watching you and making sure that you perform, regardless of even being pushed to failure, your performance, it's almost like when you have a coach. When you're just making shit up on your own, I have 2 clients that say it in pretty much all of their check-ins because they were bought into apps for so long that it's just like this thing that they can't get over because of how much better they feel in their progress because they finally have a coach that's progressing them. Even like 4 months later. Like, there is a difference between someone pushing you and you trying to do it alone and just batch of things together and just change things because you're bored, because that's what I would probably do myself, because that's the way I am. I like having someone there as a reflector all the time. But the point of all of this is, it's the training that makes the difference. It's the training that builds the muscle. The nutrition is there to support it. You can't build muscle in a deficit. You can build it at maintenance, but not in a deficit, not past that initial phase. If you have more muscle mass compared to the same amount of fat, you'll have a lower body fat percentage. Because now your muscles up here, your fat's the same, that's called body recomp, because you've been building muscle. At some point, you're going to need to push your calories a little bit more this way. I would say that way, but I prefer things moving this way for a lot longer, because if you do this part for long enough, you will only have to do this part once, maybe twice, depending on depending on how much body fat you have, depending on how strict you're willing to be with your diet, and where you're able to build your lifestyle for it, to support it. Because this is where we would rather be able to feed you a little bit more to get in more steps, more energy, be able to keep moving and feed the higher flux state of that. But it also comes down to a lot of genetics. Are you someone who adapts really well to calorie manipulation or not? And this is also where I have the heebie-jeebies with the whole, you're just fine with this amount of protein. Like, there's this thing in the industry now that's saying, it was overhyped. Well, actually, no, it's not. And there is one thing where even some pros are kind of saying, well, if you're in a build, you don't really need that much protein. While I would kind of say, yeah, that has a lot of sense to it because you're already eating a lot of food. The protein in itself, there's protein in so many different things, like potatoes, but it's scarce. There's like a little bit of protein in rice and a little bit of protein in beans and this and that, but that's not high quality sources. So you would probably want to have higher protein so that you're getting in more animal sources. Same with vegan sources. Like, yeah, okay, they all congregate to complete the amino profile, but it pays to have more of the more easily extractable proteins. And it's like, if you focus on the right things, you'll get there. It's just the patience element. It's learning the hard way. And I guess we also have to be realistic with the fact that you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Are they manipulating their photos? Are they taking anything that's illegal? Like, what's their lifestyle like? What are they willing to forego and not forego? Like, at the moment, I'm definitely nowhere near optimal with my stuff. I'm just doing the best that I can, and sometimes it is like that. But if we see that as a waste of time, like, well, I'm not doing anything that feels productive. I'm not in a 12-week shred, so what's the whole point investing in X, Y, Z? Well, that is the whole point, because 12-week shreds, you can easily do that shit alone. It's the other stuff that actually matters most, because you just need to do enough to maintain your muscle mass. And that's just not doing anything nonsensical. And then just slash your calories, whoop-de-doo. But fat loss is not the same as getting lean. Fat loss is not the same as building a body composition you're proud of. And that proud element, that confident element, you don't get that from getting a body. You don't get that from hitting an end physical goal. That is not the way that humans are designed. We're designed to feel rewarded in the pursuit of things. There are so many people that have worked their asses off to, like, how many Olympians, how many professional sports people have put their lives, everything into preparing for these, like, 4-second races even. I think it's that there's like this sled thing that's like a friggin', I don't know, it's like a 4-minute race, but they train for 4 years for that 4-minute time. They might win, but then it's almost like, I didn't feel like it was as great as it was. And then they're just on to the next thing. Like, you need to find enjoyment in the process. But when it also comes to the body image does not discriminate. Why else do you think there are people that you would probably see as really skinny calling themselves fat? And there you are, like, bro, shut up. Body image doesn't discriminate. It's all a process of feeling in control. Like, I had a client also check in, which is the other one, and she said, I'm so happy that my self-worth isn't tied to how I look anymore. Because she went way over her calories one of the days. She doesn't even know how much she went over, because it was just a whole feast of, what is it called? Some barbecue of some barbecue thing with the I just copy pasted her meal prep meals because I love her meal prep meals, but it was one of those, the pulled stuff, the pulled beef stuff, that stuff. But that's the point. You're not always going to be perfect. And something that she always did was she was a yo-yoer. She would crash diet, fast, do keto, no carbs, cardio every single day, boot camps for every single holiday, and then bounce all the way back. Back and forth like a ping pong. She's, since when did she come to me? Like 2020 or some shit. And her old coach used to promote this stuff. So it gets ingrained in the head. Like, okay, we're doing these like little, that's a rant. That is a rant for a day, but welcome to my podcast, just on Instagram. It's just something I'm so passionate about because it's lifting, chasing strong, feeling like I'm finally able to show up for myself and live this life, something I never thought possible. Like, yeah, okay, I get freaking down on myself about not being able to hold my word to so many things. I'm human with a really, really bad ADHD attack right now because my autism's all through the roof. Like, one thing that I attribute a lot of my success to is being able to build up the habits, the structure, the routines before hormones became a thing and made the ADHD worse. But it's more so that my autism is finally triggered for the first time in my life. I've never had to deal with it before because I've always just stuck to the same structure every single day. Predictable. And then as soon as that gets kicked out, that's where I am such a firm believer of you do so much better with rigidity before you bring in flexibility. Because the rigidity allows you to make something at least a consistent thing. I'm working on that with one of my clients right now. Like, I don't care whether you get bored with the meal or not. I don't care whether it's like bleh to eat the same shit every day. Right now, we just need to get the habit. Once we've developed the habit, then we can work on adding in some flexibility and go from there. Because right now, you're not feeling confident in yourself. You're beating yourself up. You're hating your body because you don't feel in control and you're not showing up for the things that you want to do. Just like that client I was talking about before who said that she's happy that it's not tied in. She said she feels fluffy and she wants to dial it in and feel leaner again. So what is she doing? She's planning her meals ahead, deciding to get her shit together. She isn't slashing her calories. Her calories are between 22 to 2,500. She was eating around the 2,500 mark for most of it, and she's friggin' slashed all PRs. I wish I could like show them here because she was so proud of her training. Like, that's what she was celebrating this whole check-in. And she even said, I know I mentioned I was fluffy, but I don't feel a little bit of regret. I loved every minute and she enjoyed that barbecue. All she has to do now is actually stick to the meals that she's planned ahead because she knows that it gives her structure. It's just that she has such a demanding life. She's a high achiever. And you're allowed to have high standards for yourself, as long as they don't become such unrealistic expectations that you hold yourself to absolutely everything, which this very same client has a great analogy for this. She now trains on Saturday mornings, and it's the best session she ever has. She didn't mention this part, but I do need to ask her about it. So I'm going to open this as a voice message as I say it, because I think it's something that you should all take to mind with your urgency to get somewhere or wanting to pull out the seeds to see if they've germinated at all. She said that she thinks it's because it's after she's had a huge breakfast and coffee that her session is amazing. But if you think about training before work or training before commitments, you have the pressure of a time schedule. You have you have something that is time capping you. You're focused on, I need to have this done by here, so that's always on your mind, versus actually being in the moment, focusing on the training, focusing on what your body's doing. If you're always in a rush for results, it doesn't feel as good. I mean, I made an analogy ages ago. No one feels good. Like, you wouldn't rush an orgasm. You wouldn't rush what was the other one? Something about, you wouldn't rush like running out with your heels on and like trying to get the mascara on. You'll probably poke your eyes out. So it kind of makes sense to, time's going to pass anyway. So you can keep doing the same shit that you've always done. Hire the most amazing coach. Hire someone who you think is going to give you the magic answer. And think that you're going to somehow get better results, but you won't. because nothing's really changed inside of here. You can physically be doing the same program. You can physically be doing the best program and still never change. Because it's not about what you eat and what you train. It's about how you do the things you do and how that has its checks and balances that move you forward. So many people think it's a nutrition thing. So many people think, oh, I'm doing all the right things with my training. I've had so many people come to me with that. If you listen to my podcast with Tracy, she said the same thing. She didn't think that she needed training coaching. A lot of clients came to me in the past thinking they only needed nutrition coaching. I don't really offer that anymore. Because it's coaching as a thing. It's what do you need from me to get to where you want to be. I will coach you to that level. But it's so much more than just what your nutrition is doing. And just because you hit 40 doesn't mean that your body responds to calories different or responds to carbs different. It doesn't. The way that you change your training, sometimes we don't even recognize that. But I do recognize there was a point in my training where I just didn't have the oomph anymore before I went on my own HRT as well. Like, sometimes you just don't have the same power to give stuff, and I don't actually think that I have the same oomph to give the shit that I used to give it before. And that's okay. It just means you adapt the plan. And one thing that stands above all else is that if you have always been in this yo-yo cycle with your calories and never properly focused on building muscle, your metabolism is gonna get so fucked up when you're older. Because it's that muscle, it's that strength, it's the training capacity above all things that will sustain your metabolism. Not the muscle per se, it's the training capacity. Because your ability to do a high amount of high quality work, your energy systems need to be at a certain level for that. Anyway, this turned into a really long rant. I don't even know when I started this. I even forgot that I was voice messaging her. Oh wow, okay. And I still need to get to the gym. I still need to finish the check-ins. Well, Monday's check-ins, because I'm spreading them out now. But I hope that helped. I should turn this into a podcast. I don't even know. But it's just, I can't say it any other way. And I see so many people, I don't know why coaches sometimes rant on about this stuff. It's like, well, that's because you're not approaching it the way that you should be approaching it. It's not the client's fault. They're taught to focus on what you're focusing on. So if you're still doing progress photos every single week, if you're still getting their weigh-ins every single week, if it's all about, are you on track with your food? Are you on track with this? Complaining about not feeling like you're making progress, and then it's just like, well, your food wasn't in line, you missed this. It's like, no. If that's where you're going to focus, then that's where you're teaching them to focus. You need to focus on what matters. You need to measure what matters. They say you can only manage what you measure, and measuring shit matters, whatever they say. I would argue against that, because most of us aren't measuring the right things to get there, which is why I think SMART goals are absolutely bullshit. Most people don't know what to measure. They don't know what's realistic. Heck, I didn't even know any of that before. It's called being human. And once you get into the process of doing things, you need more than just SMART goals. They're enough to get you out the door. But from there on, you need something that actually has a bite to it, that actually that takes into the context of what the nature of progress is like. Because 1% better every day, or improvements in a linear type of direction to the way that we would expect it, does not exist. Progress goes like this. You start like this. Sometimes you go down a little because you're trying to learn something new. And it's just like, oh my God. And then if doubt sets us in, it just does this, and then you somehow try to get your way out. But it should have a little dip to start with. And then it's like slow. And then it starts to pick up really fast again. And then it's like slow, because then you want to learn something more again. But then it's like this kind of thing. Because you can't improve all that. When you've been doing something for so long, you don't improve at the same rate. Novice gains. But yeah, anyway. Back to check-ins, because I need to get my ass to the gym. And the weather is really shit. Is it pouring there for anyone else? It's I swear that it would, yeah, it's just heavy rain all day. It sucks. And I hate it when it's dark because it feels like it's friggin' 8 p.m. Mwah.